I want to be ready. I want to be ready. Going to walk in Jerusalem just like John. Oh, some comes crippled and some comes lame.
Hey guys, hope you're doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about this organization that calls themselves the Church of the Subgenius, and they're actually just a satanic cult. But I want to I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but there are some weird things about particular this particular organization that I just want to point out. And they were recently brought to my attention on one of the newer Conspiracy Are Us videos that he put out, and he mentioned this Bob character that you're looking at on the screen here. And you can see they've got some sort of a blasphemy of the cross kind of symbol that they also use, that's next to him pictured there. But yeah, he brought it up that this Bob meme and this Bob name have a strange kind of thing going on with, so it just made me kind of want to dig a little deeper into it. And because I've known about these guys since like the early 90s. When I was young, my family actually had a PC in the home with dial-up internet back in those days. And even back then, I'm pretty sure before we even had any sort of higher speed internet, I think back in those dial-up days even, I was still going to this, I was probably only 12, 13, 14 years old, something like that, going to this Church of the Subgenius stuff, just looking at it online, browsing through their web pages of their weird fractal art and all sorts of stuff they do. And it's part of something called Discordianism. And so we're going to talk about that. And they also have some word that they use called Slack, and it has a meaning, but I'll show you all that in today's video. So I'll start with this article that was written back in April 6th of 2000, so over 21 years ago at this point, in the Cleveland newspaper, Cleve Scene or something it's called. And here it says, taking a break to use the restroom at the Euclid Tavern during one of his recent concerts known as Devivals, the Reverend Ivan Stang has a rock star style encounter with a long-haired fan. Are you Ivan? Bubbles, the excited fan. Those Subgenius books changed my life. Did you write those? Sort of, Stang says hesitantly. They're the word of Bob speaking through me. Oh, you're kind of like an apostle, gushes the fan, who's wearing a shirt with the spam logo emblazoned on it. That would be apostolic or apostolish. I don't know. He fumbles for the right word, gearing up for a religious reverie. Obviously, he doesn't get the joke. So see, these guys, this whole thing is based on a joke. It's supposed to be a big joke. It's like a big inside joke, but I'm going to show you that it's much more than that. He says, obviously he doesn't get the joke. Yeah, apostolic, interjects Stang. You know what? I really gotta pee. Praise Bob, the acolytes just keep on coming to the Church of the Subgenius, a mock religion so influential that in recent Time magazine online poll, it was voted fraud of the century. The Euclid Tavern is packed with the faithful tonight, dressed in bizarre costumes, waving weird icons, dancing and drinking and staring transfixed when Stang takes the stage for one of his nonsensical rants. Founded by Stang in Dallas in 1978, the Church of the Subgenius has amassed an official membership of 4,000 to 5,000 and a much larger international following by promoting a bizarre blend of salvation, humor, and a philosophy of slacking off instead of working hard. Celebrities such as Devo's Mark Mothersbaugh, writer Ken Kesey, actor Pee Wee Herman, the Talking Heads David Byrne, the director Jonathan Demme, are all card-carrying members. The Subgenius message promulgated by mythical messiah J.R. Bob Dobbs, is simple. Normal people are the ones who are screwed up. It's the misfits who will triumph in the end. Stang, who regularly performed with a Cleveland band called Einstein's Secret Orchestra, is equal parts preacher and rock star. Between music sets, he takes to the podium to deliver quasi-evangelical speeches filled with apocalyptic warnings and improbable conspiracy theories. Audience members raise their beers and chant "Praise Bob," transforming seedy bars like the Euclid Tavern into places of cult worship. No doubt about that. It doesn't faze Stang that, on this night, the toilet in the women's restroom has flooded a hallway, overpowering the club with the smell of urine. He keeps preaching, flicking his throat occasionally to make a slightly obscene gargling noise, and selling. In fact, the back room of the club is littered with more t-shirts, CDs, and trinkets than a downtown street corner during baseball season. Strike up a conversation with one of the eager buyers, and you'll likely end up in a debate over whether L. Ron Hubbard was a prophet or just a good science fiction writer. Cult, prank, pop phenomenon, rock and roll, the Church of the Subgenius combines elements of all these into its own special brand of high weirdness. As Stang says, it's a joke that makes fun of other religions and at the same time is still a religion. Truer words have never been said. I'm going to just interject on that. And now the center of the Subgenius universe has shifted. Like Moses leaving Egypt or Buck Rogers blasting off for Mars, Stang pulled up his tent stakes in Dallas last year and set out for a land of religious freedom and economic opportunity. The road led straight to Cleveland. Okay, and then it goes on, but I will say that this description that you just heard read is very accurate of what they stand for and represent and everything. So after hearing that, you have a pretty good idea so far of what, again, that was written back in 2000. Okay, and so let's go to some of the pictures that I dug up. And so I just wanted to make this video, not because I think that you, the adults listening, are going to be falling into this cult or anything like that, but more so that you can just be aware that it exists. And like, if you were to see children like thinking it's cool and stuff, that you could warn them about it. It has been rumored that the Columbine shooters, if that event was even real or not, whatever, but that those two children were involved in this particular cult. So, I do think there's MK Ultra tie-ins here. I think there's a lot of tie-ins to Satanism. So, and so here's a picture from back in the day of probably in the 90s or something, of this one of these guys. I don't know. He's one of the members. I don't know if he's high up or what. And then they've got, the picture of the imagery of the large head. And I will say this Bob character, he's really an archetypal image of a 1950s husband of the home, like in a nuclear family, his good white family type of a meme. And this is really kind of memes before they really existed on the internet very big. These might be some of the original memes. And I'll get back to that topic in this video here. Here's a picture of one of their meetings or whatever, devivals that they're having. Sorry for the poor quality, but what they're doing is they're making the throat cutting symbol right there. So they've got them all doing the throat cutting symbol. And if you know anything about Freemasonry, you know that that is actually one of their symbols. So it looks like this is tied in with Freemasonry as well. No surprise at all. Here's one of their, they used to make these tracks just like to mock the Jack Tricked Chick tracks. They made their own versions of them. And so here's one of them, and I'll read it out to you from the top down. They may be watching you act like you aren't reading this. Are you different? Then you are one of the chosen, and that's why this pamphlet has accidentally fallen into your hands. Even morons know these are the end times. We have reached the juncture in history at which two previously impossible things have become technologically feasible: the destruction of all life on Earth, or infinite slack for everyone forever. Hopefully, these are two different things, but it's never too early to start being pessimistic. And then it says nuclear blast on top of a ball Earth. Okay. Which, as we know, both of those are hoaxes. Only J.R. Bob Dobbs stands between the conspiracy and total planetary freakout. Are you in shape for the finals? Then you must be saved even if it kills you. Eternal salvation or triple your money back. At last, it has come, the final do-it-yourself end times religion for swinging mutants and terminal abnormals. The Church of the Subgenius, the world's first industrial church, breaking the tolerance barrier. Live with your sins. Bob Dobbs can show you how. Caution may be habit forming. Do not operate heavy machinery while under the influence of this tract. So you can see here, live with your sins. At the very end, it's like, okay, the truth, if you didn't see it already, there you go. That is Satanism, pure and simple. There's no doubt about that. And then here, I'll keep going to the next ones here. Here's like, I guess, just some random head shop that is posting some of their imagery. Here we've just got one of their logos that they create. And they create all sorts of artwork. The people that are into this, they create all sorts of different types of weird and disgusting, grotesque artwork, all sorts of stuff. Typically, they say they mock all religions, like in that one thing I was reading, but it's always Jesus that they're going after. You better believe it. It's all, I don't think I've ever seen any where they draw Muhammad and mock him or anything like that. So you'd have to do more research. I haven't done a lot though. So this is something that if any of you guys are interested in, you could probably do a lot more digging and probably find a lot more information about this. But I'm going to be moving on after this video from this. I just wanted to inform you guys a little bit about it. Here's an article from a newspaper. It says 7/6/92. So 1992, it was in the Bedford ON Sunday Times. So I guess that might be Ontario. I'm not sure. But I think it says it's in Britain possibly here. So satanic sect shows its face. A secret religious sect which claims to have conjured up the Gulf War is infiltrating Bedford. What was thought to be harmless pavement graffiti of a man's face is actually a sketch of the sect's founder, Bob Dobbs, who now calls himself a high priest. The Magician's Genius is a sect from America which is growing in size in Britain. It is believed the main target is adolescents. The sect's doctrine and practices are mainly unknown, but members did claim to have conjured up the Gulf War in February 1991, according to the Independent newspaper. The word slack, used under some of the stenciled artwork, is a description of a power the human race lost thousands of years ago. Slack is a power which maintains the tranquility of the race. The artist or artists responsible have not been found. It is a clear sign there is an active unit of the sect operating in Bedford. Followers hold believers meetings in their homes and during the day carry out normal everyday jobs. The sect concentrates on supernatural powers and beliefs which other Christians denominations term as satanic and evil. Bedfordshire on Sunday reported last week how the face of Bob was peering up from a number of pavements across Bedford. The design is used to publicize the image of the sect. In other adult comic magazines, the symbol is printed in the small advertisement section, asking people to send $1 or £1 for more information. A man who said his identity as a follower of the sect must be kept secret said, "This graffiti is intended to grab people's attention. The design slips into your subconscious and will emerge when people learn more about the sect." Okay, there you go. Wow. I mean, this is like pretty interesting right here. This is from '92, and these people were onto it, man. I mean, they knew it was satanic right away, so that's good. They definitely knew what was going on. So uh, kudos to the people that knew that, could smell it right away. I mean, he's saying, that it goes into your subconscious. This is MK Ultra type stuff right here. This is Tavistock Institute type stuff right here. Also, the smiley face imagery also reminds me of potentially smiley face killer tie-in. Here's just another one of their pamphlets from one of their devivals, as they call it. And, it's just total mockery of God, everything about it. Here is, okay, so then so then what I found out in that Conspiracy R of Us video is that they had actually made an Illuminati card game series out of this Church of the Subgenius character and everything else, and all of their beliefs and everything. And so there's that tie-in now to this Illuminati card game, which, as we know, has predicted many of the things that have been happening to us over the past 25 years. And so it's just, here's just another really creepy tie-in with this particular organization. And here's one of the cards. They show UFOs, so this would be your fake alien invasion, scam, Blue Beam, Project Blue Book, or whatever it was called. Blue Beam. Yeah, they'll never get it, even when the saucers are flying overhead. Okay. Church of Middle America, again, mocking Christ. Always, always going after the Christians. Here's a card, 13013, which, if you can see, that spells the word Bob if you put the ones and the threes together. Now this actually makes me think of the Vat City video where he shows how the symbols, how the three is the M, and you turn it on the sideways, it's the E, and it's just all that was super interesting stuff. And this actually reminds me of that. But I looked up the number 13013 to see if it was prime. It is not a prime number. It has factors of 7, 11, and 13 are the prime factors of this number. For whatever that means. It does say this number is sacred to Bob for reasons too complex and secret to print on this little bitty card. So, and it says meditation on 13013 can produce amazing effects. So this is all just satanic garbage, right? But it's still, I guess, interesting for any of you decoders out there. You might be into this kind of thing. And then here's one of their cards in the game, Principia Discordia, which is what this Church of the Subgenius is based on, is called Discordianism, and we're going to talk about that here pretty quick. But here you can see all the occult symbols and stuff that they use. Here's another one of the original Illuminati card games, which showed, foresaw the bombing of the Pentagon. Here's the Roni Baloney right here. So they got the Roni Baloney scam. They got the 9/11 hoax scam on there. We've got the Donald Trump and Q scam. Foretold. I mean, it's like how can you even? It's so close. It's not even funny. I mean, I'm sorry to laugh about it. It's not funny. And then this is what they call their Discordian tree of life. Obviously it's all, again, they put this whole joking face on everything, but this all goes much deeper. So I'm going to go back to some of the articles I looked up. Now, this is actually like a hidden in plain sight type of thing right here. This is a fandom site called subgenius.fandom.com, wiki Discordianism. And so again, if you're into this so-called funny meme cult, just for the giggles, and you don't think any of it's serious, you would go to this site and you would say, oh wow, this is really their actual lore, their fake, pretend religion and everything. But I'm going to tell you that this is all hidden in plain sight, and this is all very real and all very serious and not a joke. Discordianism. Discordianism is a rival cult to the Church of the Subgenius. Planet X is named by conspiracy scientists after the goddess they worship, Eris Discordia. Discordians base their religion on the book Principia Discordia, the number 23, and Fenord. Their primary purpose in terms of subgenii is to destroy the Church of the Subgenius if it gets out of hand. They have both local and non-local groups known as cabals. The original Arisian cult was in ancient Greece and ancient Rome, with the Greeks worshipping the goddess by her first name Eris, and the Romans worshipping her by her last name Discordia. The Arisian cult of ancient times had the exact same beliefs as modern-day Discordians, but it was persecuted after the dawn of Christianity and became a secret society known as the Illuminati for almost 2,000 years. The Illuminati, with their secret handshakes and schemes backed by the goddess Eris herself, gained extraordinary power over the centuries, shaping much of history to their ends. Then, in the late 1950s, with the publication of Principia Discordia, a minority of the Illuminati began to go public with their Arisian mysteries, rebelling against the rest of the Illuminati and forming the Discordian religion. After the publication of the Illuminatus trilogy by Robert Shea, Robert Anton Wilson in the 1970s, Discordianism became increasingly popular, which alarmed the Illuminati, who have been followers of Eris Discordia for thousands of years, always planning their schemes in secret, never in the open. The Discordians, however, opposed this conspiracy by the Illuminati, and although they likewise worship Eris Discordia and have the same beliefs, the Discordians are at war with the Illuminati, which keeps Eris Discordia quite amused, just as the Trojan War did in ages past. Since then, the Illuminati have been moving towards establishing a new world order, while the Discordians have fought them by becoming anarchists and trying to spread chaos and disorder to undermine all authority figures. According to general public, the Discordians do not realize that this is exactly what the Illuminati want them to do, and that everything is going according to plan, and the conspiracy is in complete control of everything. While the Discordians try to fight the conspiracy of the Illuminati, they are actually conspiracy dupes, and everything they do plays right into the Illuminati's hands. The only way they can ever hope to defeat the conspiracy is by joining the Church of the Subgenius as ordained ministers and getting back the slack the conspiracy stole away, something which the wisest Discordians such as Robert Anton Wilson have realized and acted upon. However, J.R. Bobbs Dobbs only let the Church of the Subgenius go public in 1979 because he could depend on the destructive power of the Discordians. If it were not for the Discordians, I never would have set the Church loose on the world, for I know that they will always be around to destroy it if it gets out of hand. For more on Discordium, there is always Wikipedia and self-serving Discordia Wikia. Also, here in this video of Robert Anton Wilson, a prominent Discordian and ordained Subgenius minister, discussing Discordianism with Reverend Ian Sang on the Hour of Slack. Now, I haven't watched that video, so maybe we can potentially come back to it at the end. I don't know if I really want to watch it or not, but we'll move on for now. But what I will say about this is that I was just like really surprised when I saw all this information about this Arisian cult, the Discordian cult, and that it's thousands of years old and everything like that. And I was like, is this real, or is this are they just making this up? So I went and looked, and it is real. Okay, so I'm going to get into that. The Church of the Subgenius documentary examines the cult of a cult. So this just talks about how there was a documentary made about them. When was it made? So this article is from 2020. I'll read it here. I believe I kept this tab open because I wanted to read this here. There's some more information, I guess. Long before the internet invaded every aspect of culture, a pair of friends who first bonded over their love of comic books and Captain Beefheart dreamed up a weird fringe cult specifically for weirdos that would walk the line between sincerity and parody. Thus, the Church of the Subgenius was born. For those who have never heard of the Church of the Subgenius, or those who can instantly identify its iconic image, the clip art that purposely depicts pipe-chomping founder J.R. Bob Dobbs, Sandy K. Boone's new documentary, J.R. Bob Dobbs, The Church of the Subgenius, has arrived, using contemporary and older interviews, animation, vintage VHS footage, stock clips. Okay, so I don't need to read that, but yeah, it shared a fascination with extremist literature and kook pamphlets like Jack Trick's religious tracts. So I haven't watched. Oh, so here's the guy. There's Eben Stang. So he's like one of the founders or whatever of it right there. And he has just got so many demons in him. They probably can't even count them. There's so many. But, so I guess, you know, if I make a part 2 video to this topic, I will probably have to watch this whole thing first to get more information about them, because I'm sure the documentary has a lot of information in it that I won't be able to give you today. So yeah, this was when I looked up this Eris stuff. So here's the cult of Eris. Now I know this is Wikipedia, but at least it gives us some more information here. This article is about the Greek goddess of discord. For the god of love, see Eros. Discordia redirects here. Okay, so Eris is the Greek goddess of strife and discord. Her Roman equivalent is Discordia, which means the same. Eris's Greek opposite is Harmonia, whose Roman counterpart is Concordia. Homer equated her with the war goddess Enyo, whose Roman counterpart is Bellana. The dwarf planet Eris is named after the goddess. She had no temples in ancient Greece and functions essentially as a personification, as which she appears in Homer and many later works. So here's a picture over here, one of the, I guess, older images, and you know, all in blue with black wings. I mean, is there any doubt where that demon comes from? So the characteristics, you know, strife, discord, you know, confusion. I would add to that. Just the word discordianism. It makes me think of confusion, and that's really the goal of this whole Church of the Subgenius. It's all about, you know, always throwing people off and being confusing and all of that. And we know who the author of confusion is. It is the devil himself. So we don't need to go too much into that. I think you get the point, and you can do more research on that on your own. But ties right back into the occult, Satanism. And so obviously we've probably all heard of these two very popular apps called Slack and Discord. And so I just find that really odd that there's going to be these two major, you know, companies, probably both in Silicon Valley. I haven't looked it up, but I'm guessing, you know, but these technocrats, so these same people that are these technocrats are also naming their companies after these Church of the Subgenius terms, okay, and beliefs. Now, I will say both of these apps, I've used both of them in the past, and they're great communication tools. They're fantastic for what they do. But they have nothing to, I mean, these names, Discord and Slack, have nothing to do with what these apps actually do. And so, and obviously everything's being spied on when what you put on these apps, guys. So, I mean, they have everything on you. I mean, the data mining is just insane. So just keep that in mind when you're using these apps. But that just goes for YouTube and anything else as well. So it's not like it's any different. But I just wanted to point that out. And we're also going to just look at a few more things here. Let's see. So I wanted to tie this final discussion of what I'm talking about. did I close it? Okay, yeah, I'm going to bring up some of these logos. So that one we already saw. You know, they're mocking that Kabbalah tree of the Kabbalah or whatever it is, tree of life thing. Um, they call that the Discordian tree of life. So I'm done with that. So what this made me think of was this Pepe meme, or just because that Bob meme with the face, the guy's face, and you know, on this, it was kind of like the original meme warfare, as they call it, and so it made me think of all the Trump stuff, the Q stuff, and all that with 4chan and 8chan, and how it kind of all started with them. And I was just going to bring up a few images too of their logos. So Discord, I don't know, kind of has like an alien-looking face. I mean, nothing too recognizable about it, but it's just kind of, I guess, a weird logo. And then we've got Slack. I thought this one was interesting. The Slack logo definitely takes on a swastika look to it. It's got the clockwise direction, it appears to be. And then you also have the 4chan logo, which is similar. So I find that interesting. So Slack and 4chan. And also, if you've ever gone on these sites, you know that they're full of just disgusting things like gore videos, pornography, people just acting like really terrible people, Satanism, you name it. I mean, just every form of debauchery is on there. And there's also a lot of free thought happening in there as well. But, you know, and there's even Christians in there posting and whatnot. But what I will say is that you very much get this feel of, if you've ever known about this Church of the Subgenius since before 4chan existed, you would understand that 4chan kind of feels very much like a platform of this church, of this cult, with the way that it operates and everything. So, and then you've got the, and then here's just some other pictures of swastikas and swastikas. And you know, a bunch of the ancient religions use this symbol. Some of them go in the clockwise direction, and some go in the counterclockwise direction. Specifically, this one with the dots goes in the counterclockwise direction. Do you see that one quite a bit? The one that Slack put up does seem to be clockwise, for whatever that's worth. So, yeah, so that's all I really got for you guys on this today. I guess if, you know, some of this information may or may not, you know, click with you. I hope you learned something. You know, obviously, oh, you know what? I didn't get to all the pictures. I forgot to open something. You know what? Give me 1 second here. I had one more tie-in before we go here. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. This is what I wanted to show you here. So one of the times with that Pepe meme was then all of a sudden they started coming out with memes of praise Kek. And so it turned into this like religious thing, right? Like a demon god. And then here you can see there's actually these ancient statues of Kek, this demon frog god. And as we know, the frog, you know, is also depicted as a demon in the Bible, coming out of the mouths of the beast, the false prophet, and the third one, I can't remember. Anyways, they also show that on this statue, now they're saying it's an ancient statue of Kek. I have no confirmation of that, but there is this symbol apparently on the front of it, and so they drew it right here, and it does look like a guy sitting in front of a computer, and then like some sort of a double helix or something next to it. So really weird stuff, really creepy. And then you started seeing these Pepe/Trump memes popping up, and this was all during like 2016 and all of that, was when like the heyday. and then people were calling it meme warfare, and people were saying praise Keck and all this kind of stuff back then. And so, and we all know how Trump and Q and all that turned out. So just wanted to tie that in as well. So thanks, you guys. I just want to say God bless everyone, and just praise the Lord Jesus for waking us up to all this stuff. And I'll see you on the next one.